We have to thank scientists for constantly looking for ways to make our lives better. On that note, there was an amazing experiment that took place in Singapore recently, where a team of scientists created this neat thing called the cold tube. You know, when you're sweltering on a hot summer's day, the first thing you reach for is probably the air conditioning remote, right? I mean, that's the standard way we cool down. But what if I told you there's an even better and more energy-efficient way to chill out? Our bodies are like mini radiators, constantly exchanging heat with the world around us. This heat doesn't just hang in the air, it goes from hot stuff to cooler stuff. So, the cold tube, which was essentially an outdoor pavilion filled with panels cooled by cold water, used this natural process to cool down folks who walk through it. This creative little project showed that we could feel comfy in a tropical climate, not by cooling down tons of air, but by using radiant cooling, which is much more energy efficient. Scientists believe this could totally revolutionize the way we cool down and move air around. Such a cool tube could not only save us a ton of cash on our energy bills, but also keep us safe in times of crisis, by enabling more airflow without needing a ton of energy or infrastructure. The biggest misunderstanding about air conditioning is that it's not the only way to cool down. In fact, our standard window units are energy monsters compared to, say, a ceiling fan, and they don't even bring in any fresh air. Some compare leaving the AC on to having lights on in 100 rooms, in terms of energy usage. The benefit of this innovative tube is that it separates the cooling from the airflow, so you can keep your windows open for fresh air, without having to use tons of energy to chill and dry the air. But what about outdoor air quality and urban heat islands? It's been pointed out that AC units just dump heat outside, which can make city areas unbearably hot. In contrast, their tech could be used to create cool areas in the city where people can hang out and enjoy. Are we on the brink of a world without AC? It's probably going to take some time and a lot more experimentation to completely change the way we think about our comfort systems. It's not just about flicking a switch, but the cold tube experiment was a huge academic success, and it's definitely added to our knowledge of how thermal radiation influences comfort and efficiency. There are some companies out there already exploring similar tech, but they are still at the stage where they need to show people how this can work in the real world and further develop these concepts. This isn't just about upgrading technology, it's a total shift in how we think about comfort design. It's particularly important in places like Singapore and other tropical regions where a lot of energy is used to dry out the air, even more so than cooling it. In those areas, new ways of thinking about comfort can make the most difference. Sure, what's to come sounds exciting, but air conditioning was itself quite an amazing invention. It allowed us to go about our day-to-day routine even when the thermometer was bubbling over. In fact, 3 out of 4 US households have air conditioning. But here's a fun fact. The grandfather of all air conditioners wasn't even designed with human comfort in mind. Rewind to the start of the 20th century. A Brooklyn-based publishing company was having a tough time with humidity messing up their top-tier color printing. 2 consecutive summers of unbearable heat were wreaking havoc on their business, swelling pages and smudging prints. They found hope in the fledgling cooling industry. Enter Willis Carrier, an adventurous engineer in his mid-20s. Carrier came up with a basic cooling system to battle the humidity around the printer. His idea? Use a hefty industrial fan to blow air over steam coils filled with cold water. The excess humidity would then take a chill pill on the coils and voila, you get cooled air. The system worked. It not only fixed the printing issue, but also made people feel more comfortable. That's when the proverbial light bulb lit up. But Carrier, the ambitious fellow he was, knew his invention was a baby step towards controlling humidity. So he kept tweaking and improving his technology. Fast forward to 1922, when Carrier invented the safer, smaller, and mightier centrifugal refrigeration compressor, essentially the blueprint for today's ACs. The Smithsonian's National Museum of American History even showcases one of the first practical centrifugal refrigeration compressors as a tribute to Carrier's creativity. But let's not get carried away and forget the other inventors who made significant strides in cooling technology. and who, to their credit, helped make hotter days bearable. Professor William Cullen made his mark by evaporating liquids in a vacuum, thus creating refrigeration tech as early as 1748, way before Carrier was even born. About a century later, a Florida doctor named John Gorey came up with a steam engine-based system to cool air for his patients. He dubbed his invention an ice machine. You'd think an invention like that would have been the talk of the town during the Industrial Revolution. Unfortunately, Gorey's efforts to patent and popularize his machine were met with opposition. What happened after the AC was invented? Well, some folks were still clinging to their old-school Victorian outlook, wary of the surge of new machines and technology. But Carrier was an eager, sharp-minded engineer, ready to leverage fresh science and mechanics, and the business world was all ears. Manufacturers from various sectors, from leather to pasta, were increasingly aware of how shifting weather could pose a threat to their products. Carrier's gear started garnering more attention, fueled by positive press coverage. The AC slowly became a household name in the 20th century. But what did people do about the heat before that? Let's look at some creative ideas people used to bring comfort into their homes. You never know when this might come in handy. Well, firstly, and this might sound a bit ancient, but many people made use of caves, Mother Nature's own AC if you'd like. You see, underground vibes usually hang around a comfy temperature all year long, so people would find themselves a cozy cave or craft a home on a hillside to reap the benefits of the Earth's natural cooling properties. When people saw how cool the stones in the caves stayed, a light bulb went off. They started using similar materials, like stone or brick, to build homes above ground, hoping to mimic that cave-like chill. Here's something you can try at home. Ever damped a pillowcase and placed it in front of a fan? The air that breezes through it turns out pretty cool. Ancient civilizations like the Egyptians, Indians, Romans, and Greeks were all over this trick. They'd moisten mats or sheets and hang them in open spaces or doorways, creating a delightful draft of cool air in their homes. And let's not forget the crucial role of architecture. Imagine beautifully carved archways, grand windows, and lofty ceilings that encouraged outdoor breezes to swoop in and create cross-ventilation. People also built porches in the shade, crafting a perfect spot to escape the afternoon heat and chill out in the evening. Trees were another ace up their sleeves. Homeowners would often plant trees on the east and west sides of their homes. These green leafy canopies served double duty. Not only did they block the scorching rays of the sun, but they also cooled down the wind that rustled through their leaves and into the house. Plus, come winter, the trees would shed their leaves, letting the sun peek through to naturally heat up the house. Now, if all of this seems like too much work and you just wanted a quick cool down, there were always fans at your service. Early fans were simple and functional, made from stuff like leaves, feathers, paper, or fabric. Crafted in half or semicircle designs, they were easy to hold and wave around. The 19th century brought us the game-changer electric fans.
That's it for today. So hey, if you pacified your curiosity, then give the video a like and share it with your friends. Or if you want more, just click on these videos and stay on the bright side.